way too many Christians are posting prophetic dreams that aren't actually from the Lord. If anything, they're actually nightmares or carnal dreams. Now, it is worth mentioning before I start that I actually do believe in prophetic dreams. That is something that we've actually covered on the channel. We've interpreted lots of prophetic dreams that people have had. But throughout this whole time that I've had this YouTube channel, there are several times where people send me dreams that have to do with end times, like, oh, there's a meteorite, or there's a rapture dreams. There's so many people that send rapture dreams that in reality aren't actually dreams from the Lord. If anything, they're carnal dreams. Now, for those of you that don't know, carnal dreams are actually dreams that come from us, right? That the person that's actually having the dream. And it's basically anything that has to do with our subconscious. So for example, if you're researching a lot on this topic of raptures, end times, and that's all that you're consuming day and night, well then guess what? You're going to end up dreaming about that, because that's what carnal dreams are. Now, the other thing that I've actually seen as well is that a lot of these rapture dreams or end time dreams are not God dreams, but in reality, they're actually dreams from the enemy. So in other words, AKA are actually nightmares. Now, for those of you that don't know, nightmares are dreams from the enemy, so demons. Now, a lot of people have this misconception that nightmares can only be fear dreams. No, they can be lust dreams, they can be anger dreams, they can also be nightmares that give the person sadness, or in other words, depression. So it's any type of dream where a demon is involved and they're trying to have the person open the door spiritually to have demons enter their lives. And so if anything, I would probably say 90% of dreams that people send me that have to do with meteorites or earthquakes or rapture, most of them are carnal dreams and nightmares. And for those of you that don't know also, prophetic dreams are essentially dreams where God reveals to the person specifically something that's going to happen in the future, either the person's region, country, or it could also entail the whole entire world. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because recently one of my viewers actually sent me a video dream that somebody had regarding the end times. And sure enough, it was one of these types of dreams where in reality, it was not a dream from the Lord. It wasn't God warning the person of what's to come in the future regarding their country, their location, or has to do with the whole entire world. That wasn't the case. If anything, this was a nightmare. And like I mentioned, too many Christians right now are posting videos out there on the internet that in reality aren't from God. And so how do you solve this? Well, the first problem that I really see is that too many people are just posting their dreams without first interpreting their dreams. And so if anything, they're just allowing viewers to basically take it, with a grain of salt, whether this is a dream from God, if this is a dream from the enemy, or if this is a carnal dream, a dream from me. And so that has to stop. For starters, as soon as you get a dream and it has to do with those kinds of topics like rapture, end time, the first thing you have to do is interpret your dream, or actually send it to somebody that does do dream interpretations like we do on the channel. Another issue that I keep seeing over and over again from these channels that are posting weekly videos regarding, I had another rapture dream, I had another end time dream, this is a warning for America, this is a warning for the whole entire world kind of videos. And I find that very suspicious. Now, one of the reasons why I find that very sus is because prophetic dreams don't just happen, every week. You should not be getting them every single week. I've never heard that being the case with anybody. So I find it very weird that there's channels dedicated and they make weekly content, weekly videos, basically saying that, oh yeah, I got another end time prophecy, I got another end time prophetic dream. And it's like, well, wait a second. No. Prophetic dreams are actually very rare. I can actually count with my hands how many times I've actually had a prophetic dream. And as mentioned, as somebody that actually does dream interpretations here on the channel, it's very rare when I get somebody that actually has a prophetic dream. Now, the other issue that comes with this is that just because you do actually have a prophetic dream and you have interpreted, you got the prophetic dream from God, you know that it's a God dream. Just because you got a prophetic dream doesn't necessarily mean that you have to share all of that information with the whole entire world. It doesn't mean you have to make a YouTube video and start posting weekly content. That's not what that means. As mentioned before, a prophetic dream could have something to do about the future regarding maybe your town, maybe your country. It's very rare where it actually has to do with the whole entire world. So for example, if a Christian in Thailand receives a prophetic dream, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to make a YouTube video basically warning everybody around the world. Because again, what if that prophetic dream specifically has to do with just the country of Thailand? Or maybe it's just a city in Thailand, you know what I mean? And so it doesn't necessarily, that information isn't going to be of much use to a Christian in America or a Christian in Europe. You see what I mean? And so that's an issue that I keep seeing a lot of Christians posting these types of dreams online, is that they're not confirming with Holy Spirit if they should even be sharing this prophetic dream to the whole entire world? As mentioned, just because you get a prophetic dream does not necessarily mean that you have to share it to everyone. That prophetic dream might only be of use to your local church, your local town. It might not have to do with the entire world. So my recommendation is that if you're a Christian and you receive a prophetic dream, because as mentioned, that does happen. It does happen where Holy Spirit will actually give us warnings on what's to come in our local area, in our country, what's to come for the whole entire world. So the first thing I actually recommend if you do end up receiving a prophetic dream, if you're a Christian watching, is that first you have to assess, wait a second, is this a prophetic dream? Is this a dream from God? Is this a dream from the enemy? Or is this a dream from me? So if you don't know how to interpret your dream, like at all, then you should definitely not be posting that online. You have no business posting that online if you can't interpret your dream. That actually should be the first thing that you should be thinking of is, first off, before I share this information, do I know the source? Do I know that it's actually from God? Do I know that it's actually from me? Or do I know that it's actually from the enemy? If you have no idea, then you have no business posting that online. Second thing, if you have assessed that that is actually a dream from God, it's a prophetic dream, then the next thing you have to do is actually ask Holy Spirit, is this something you want me to share on YouTube? Is this something you want me to share with everybody? Or is this something just for me? Because that can be the case. That's actually happened to me personally, where Holy Spirit has actually shown me huge stuff. He's given me prophetic dreams of what's to come in the future. But that's not something that Holy Spirit has told me specifically to tell everybody that I see. But sometimes Holy Spirit actually does show me that. So again, as Christians, we do have to have enough wisdom to recognize that just because you get, secrets about the future in the form of prophetic dreams, you have to actually have enough wisdom to ask Holy Spirit, wait a second, should I be sharing this? Is this your will, Holy Spirit? Do you want me to share this information with everybody, right? Do you want me to go up in front of the pulpit, right, in church and tell everybody the dream that I just had? Is that what you want, Holy Spirit? So that's the second thing. Right before you post anything is you should assess if this is actually a prophetic dream. Second, you should actually ask Holy Spirit, is this what you want me to do? Once you do have the go-ahead from Holy Spirit to actually do that, right, to actually make a video and tell people what Holy Spirit showed you, then that's fine. But the problem is that I see way too many Christians that skip those first two parts. They don't even have an interpretation for their dream. They're just throwing stuff out there. And it's like, well, wait a second. If this dream that you had isn't a prophetic dream, isn't actually from the Lord, then what are you actually saying? If it's a nightmare, again, nightmares are actually dreams from the enemy. And so sometimes the enemy does give us nightmares to actually open the door to the spirit of fear to come into our lives. And so if you're advocating or you're spreading the word you're basically spreading misinformation if you actually have a prophetic dream that you don't even know if it's actually prophetic, but in reality, it's actually a nightmare and you're just telling everybody about it. Well, that actually could spread fear and misinformation. And so you definitely don't want to do that. Because again, you can get yourself in a huge pickle by telling lies of the enemy to a whole bunch of people on the internet. And as mentioned, too many Christians, I keep seeing channels upon channels upon channels of literally that's their whole topic is just talk about end times, talk about rapture, talk about prophetic dreams that they get on a weekly basis. Again, that's very suspicious because again, with prophetic dreams, yet most Christians that I've actually spoken with, they don't get them every single day. Oh yeah, I just went to bed and I had another prophetic. It's like, wait a second, that's a little weird. So again, as mentioned, my recommendation is first assess if your dream is actually from the Lord. Then the second step should be actually asking Holy Spirit if that's something that you should be doing. Now, the other thing that's also quite strange is that way too many people focus on end times and rapture because they actually have a spirit of fear. This has become such a problem that I actually see way too many Christians that seem to be obsessed with end time and rapture dream. I've seen people's YouTube banners literally be an asteroid coming to Earth. And so that's something that as Christians, we should not be focused on. We should not be focused on when is Jesus coming? When is the end happening? When is this happening? When are we going to go to heaven? Are we going to go to heaven before stuff gets bad? It's like, no. We should not be focused on those things. And the Bible specifically tells us no one except the Father knows the hour. That's actually stated in Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. But that of the exact day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son in his humanity, but the Father alone. So when you have channels or Christian channels where people are actually focused too much on this kind of end time, what's going to happen in the end times, it's again, it should bring up a red flag because again, why is this person so obsessed with this? And again, as mentioned before too, if you start obsessing with something, if you start researching day and night, all of the time, well, that's going to be part of your subconscious. And again, you're going to end up actually dreaming about those things. So that actually leads us to the next question. Why are Christians so obsessed with the end times and the rapture? Why are they focused on that when there's better things to focus on? Well, I believe that the reason why Christians are focused on this is because they actually want a get out of jail free card. In other words, what Christians should be focused on is actually growing their relationship with God and fulfilling the purpose that God has placed on their lives. That should be the number one goal. Not when is Jesus coming? When can I get out of here? I don't like the earth. The earth sucks. And it's like, yeah, okay, we get those things. The earth is not a great place, but we need to focus on what we actually have to do here on this earth. We should not be focused on, when can I leave? When can I get out of here? Because I'm kind of getting sick of this. And if you're watching this video and you have no idea what your purpose is, what God has actually called you to do on this earth, then you should not be focused on end time stuff. If anything, you should actually be growing your relationship so that then you can actually know what your purpose is, and God will tell you, but you do have to grow your relationship with Him first. If anything, I think Christians should be more concerned with literally showing up to heaven and Jesus asking, so what did you do on earth? Did you fulfill my purpose? That idea is actually more scary to me than what's actually going to happen on the earth. If anything, you should not be concerned with earthquakes and all of that, because as Christians, we already know that bad stuff is going to happen to the earth. You can actually see that all around us. The world is getting worse and worse day by day. So you should not be focused on that. Again, you should actually be focused on fulfilling the purpose that God has actually placed on your life. So I hope that this video has been helpful. And as always, I post dream interpretations every Thursday. So if you guys would like to send me your dreams, make sure to send it to me at my email, which is dreaminterpretation2020@gmail.com. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone, and God bless.